you, this Conejo. I'm coming at you straight right here from live. I want to talk to you of 19. I'm gonna say this got to be like 1980, 81, somewhere around there. Because this story that I'm gonna explain to you it's about Bruiser from Ochenta. He's a carnal that got made in Chicago. Joe Morgan was in California, picked up his case, his murder case, and he escaped from the county jail. And when they arrested him, they took him back. And the Department of, I guess the California Department of Corrections, they didn't want him here, and they kidnapped him in the middle of the night and housed him in Chicago, in D.C., the federal building. He gets to Chicago, and when he gets there, well, there's nobody from California, and Bruiser is on the floor from Ochentas. He's a youngster, and he's fighting, because he's half Italian, half Mexicano. He's fighting a case with his father, a racketeering case. So once he hears that Joe Morgan's in the hole in Chicago, he gets into a fight to go meet Joe in the hole, because some dudes came out the hole and told him, hey, you got a big homies in the hole right here. His name's Joe Morgan from California. But he didn't tell them that he's a member of the Emmett Godfather. He just told him, but Bruiser knew who he was. So Bruiser gets into a fight, and he goes into the hole, and he tells the cops, hey, I want to be on the same tier with Joe. And they said, yeah, well, you're going to put you on a tier because you're from down that area. So they put him right next door to Joe. Well, when he's right there next to Joe, Joe tells him, it's a trip. It's ironic because Joe told me about this carnal when I first met Joe in 1985 in Deep Seg, Cyprus, in the 4 cells in the back of the whole Chino, and he told me that this carnal, he made him when he went to Chicago, and I got to meet Bruiser when I hit Florence, Colorado. That's when I first met Bruiser. Well, anyways, he's Joe's neighbor, and while he's right there with talking to Joe used to like to hear the radio, but it's just a trip because
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Joe's actually white Mexicano, but he like always hearing rancheras, corridos, and all that. And you know, Chicago, there ain't too many dudes. There's nothing but black dudes and white dudes. They want to hear English music, so he wanted to always hear Spanish music. And this one black dude didn't like that. He changed the channel. He got into arguing with Joe, but this black dude don't know who Joe is. So they got into argument, and Bruiser tells this black dude, hey homies, watch out who you're speaking to. You better know, you better show him some respect. And that dude tells him, man, fuck you and fuck him. You know what I mean? So he disrespected him. So Bruiser didn't say nothing. Joe just said, there it goes. You know what I mean? Well, that dude, he was a porter of the tier, and Joe always wanted to hear Spanish music. Well, that dude ends up getting kicked out back to a regular floor. Well, Bruiser ends up staying with Joe like around maybe a month, 2 months. Well, he gets kicked out to the floor, and Bruiser ends up getting kicked out to the same floor that black dude's at. Well, long story short, Bruiser went back to the floor, ended up killing this dude, strangling him and stabbing him. Well, Bruiser ends up coming back to the hole, right, the same cell he was in, put him right next door to Joe. And when Joe asked him, hey, what happened? What'd you come over back to the hole for? He tells Joe, I killed that dude, the black dude that disrespected you and disrespected me. And Joe looked at him and Joe told him, why'd you do it? And he says, hey, homies, because I know you're a big homie, you know, you're the godfather of the MNE, and nobody disrespects you, man, and that's why I did it. And Joe looked like Joe really, when Joe told me the story, Joe told him, man, that touched my heart, man. He told him, hey, Bruiser, as of today, you're my carnal. And he gave him the oath, and he told him, remember this oath, because a lot of people don't know who you are, and I don't know I'm going to stay here in Chicago. Remember the oath. So when you go somewhere and you tell him that I made you a carnal, because Joe really doesn't make carnales. Joe rarely makes carnales. He's the godfather of the MNE. He lets other carnales make carnales. Well, when it was a trip, because Willie Bobo told me this story in Black Bob and Philip, old man Philip from Clover, that when they first met Bruiser comes to the feds, and when he comes, he's looking for the homies from Califas, and they tell him, hey, that's the homies from Califas, some dudes from Tennessee. And he walks up to him and he tells him, hey, what's up? What's your name? And he goes, soy Bruiser de la M80. And they say, what? These dudes, you got to remember at that time, Willie Bobo from Redondo, Carnal Willie, Black Bob, and all them, they just got racketeered. They just got racketeered. Well, they've been down like 10 years, I think. Well, they know all the carnales. They don't know this fool. So when he says, they tell me, hey, watch out what you say. Who made you a carnal? And he tells them, Joe Morgan maybe. Where? And they started questioning me in Chicago. And they tell him, okay, if they made you, what's the oath of the M from Califas? And he tells them the oath. So they're kind of tricked out because Bruiser doesn't have no tattoos, nothing. Bruiser's a big old yoke dude, muscle dude. And he goes by Italian ways. Well, they say, all right, just don't say nothing, because we got to run a make on you, CVR. He goes, oh, okay, it's all good. Well, they call it Califas, and they run a make. Well, and they get a hold of Joe. Joe shoots back and says, yeah, that's my carnal right there. You treat him, that's my brother, like he's your brother and everything. I made him over in Chicago when they had me housed over here in MDC. He tells them the story, so I trip out. So when I ran into Bruiser, I tell him the story about when I first met Joe when I was a youngster, 18 years old, and Joe was telling me the story about when he met Bruiser in the Fed, and Bruiser started laughing because Bruiser's like, man, you met Joe? And I said, yeah, I met Joe. Stump leg, yeah. I used to trip out. He'd park his legs right there by the bed in the side when he'd be walking. And he goes, yeah, that used to make me laugh too when I'd be walking the hallway because it was an hour hallway time and we could talk and I'd get in front of the cell and I used to trip out on that. I said, me too, fool, because he used to ask me, what, you're laughing at my leg? And I'm telling you, I'm finishing up the story of Bruiser. Well, anyways, when I first told Bruiser about Joe, because I was laughing because I told Bruiser that the guy met Joe and Joe told me the story when they made you. Bruiser tells me the story of when he first came into the federal system, how the brothers Willie Bobo, Philip, and Negro, and Black Bob, and all the way they reacted to him when he told them, hey, yo soy carnal de la M también, Joe made me. And they didn't know how to react. They were like, we have to check. Oh, he knew the oath and everything, so they run a make on him, and yeah, he's a carnal. Joe tells him, hey, so let's get, yeah, that's my carnal. I made him when they housed me in MDC in Chicago for those few months. Well, when Joe was over there, Bruiser took over the whole floors for Joe. Once he did that killing, they had him housed in the oil. Bruiser took over all the floors for Joe because he knew all the people there. And Bruiser's a type of carnal that he don't use no drugs. He uses drogas to control inmates because his real thing is he's Italian. He takes control of like the football tickets, the baseball tickets, the gambling. He takes care of everything of gambling. He controls it. He don't care what Italian. We've been to yard with Italianos. They come and they say, no, I'm running that racketeer and I got the tickets and we go out there and he says, no, we're taking over this. The M from Califas, that's our tickets. Well, we back up Bruiser. Well, Bruiser takes over poker tables, all that. And Bruiser, that's how he got the name Bruiser, because Bruiser, when you owe him money, he don't care who you are. If you're a carnal, if you're a sureño, you're from Califas, he's the type of dude, he'll lend you money too. Like if you got some kind of scheme going on and you need like 5,000, 10,000, he'll tell you, yeah, I'll lend you the 5,000. But with 15% interest. He lends you money, but with interest. So, carnales, they have to get the money if they want to make this whole situation happen. So Bruiser always has money. He has hundreds of thousands on standby. Well, he likes deals like that, but if you can't pay and you miss a week, because he'll pay you like weekly, you tell him, okay, I'm going to pay you every week $1,000. And if you miss a week, that's how he got the name Bruiser, because what he does, he'll take body shots on your body, like your ribs, your stomach, your back, because he doesn't want to hurt you to the point where you leave the yard and you can and you can't pay him his money, because he looks at it, that's a loss. So people that owe him money, that's what he does. He'll beat you up, but in your body, your rib cage, your stomach, and all that, and that's just so you can get encouraged to pay him. That's how he got the name Bruiser. Man, that's one of the most strategized carnales I ran into as far as gambling, because that's all he does. He studies horse.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He studies football. He knows almost every team, every player. He plays that fantasy football, the poker tables, all that. And he runs his workers. He He actually, like if you're a dude from California, he gets mostly dudes from California. If you're a dude from California that know how to run a poker table good, he'll tell you, look, I'm going to pay you so much. You run this poker table. This is how much we're pulling every hand. He has it all structured, all labeled and everything. And he pays good. And at the same time, what he does, he'll have workers. He pays paisas that'll make burritos or bring cigarettes and sodas right there next to the poker table. And you'll have them in ice and everything, so you can just break to the tab and you'll put your, like you tell him, let me get a soda, and he'll put in the tab right there what you owe. At the end of the day, when the poker table, they shut down the poker table, you pay right there. He has every yard he goes to, he takes over all the gambling. He's half Italian, half Mexicano from Ochentas. That's Bruiser from Ochentas, and man, he's a good brother. He's cool. He's a carnal. He's like your friend, he never pushed. That's the difference. I'm gonna use this as a platform to explain. That's the difference of the carnales from the state. The carnales from the state, all they want to do is they want to press their hand, push their leg, like, you know me, hey, this is me. Ain't nobody gonna challenge me. Ain't nobody gonna be against me. No, it ain't like that. And the carnales and the feds, man, they show love to the homies, the sureños. They like embrace them. They embrace them, and they like, look, this is what we're gonna do. I got this scheme going on. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna give you half. We're gonna go half and half, and that's the way. So everybody will come up. Everybody will come up. And over here it's not like that. Over here they just wanna use you, take what you got, and they're gonna give you little crumbs, and you be happy with that. No, over the feds is not like that. And that's what Bruiser always made a point. That's why me and Bruiser are cool, because Bruiser always made a point to you being happy with what you received for what you did and whatever he used you to do, that you're happy with it. He'll tell you like this, hey, Cornell, we're going to do this table, we're going to run this table, you're going to make 15% off the table, I'm going to make all the rest, are you happy with that? And you tell them, yeah, okay, then we'll push forward, we're going to take over this table. Sometimes there were situations where we had to take over tables, and dudes had those tables, so we had to push our strength, the MS strength, and tell them, hey, check this out, dog, we're going to shut down your table, we're running this. And Bruiser tell me, you down with it? Before he did anything, he'll come and tell all the brothers, look, this is what I want to do. These dudes are in my way. They got the table right there where I got my table, and they're in my way, and I'm trying to start another table, so I want to shut them down. But I want to know, if I push up on them, are we going to take it to the next level? That's the way he talks. And, the brothers, of course, yeah, we're going to take it to the next level. Let's go. Okay, I'm just letting you know, because if it does get there, I want to be able to just send word, and we're ready. And we tell him, yeah, okay, just have everything. So we'll get the fierros, everything ready, and that's when he'll step up to the dude and tell him, look, man, you're running this table, you're not making that much money, but you're in my way because I want to start another table. Why don't I do this? I'm going to give you $1,000 to shut your table down, and you can play in my table, and anytime you want, and we're not charging you a fee for playing. We're not pulling no money off you for playing, because when you play cards, they pull like $5 or $10 off every hand. Because one of the feds, there's no limit. There's tables playing for $1,000 hands, $500 hands. You got to remember, the feds, there's millionaires. You got Italian mob, Russian mob, Jewish mob, and they bet big over there. Well, a lot of dudes, when they see it, they look at it like, they'll look at him and they know that he's not playing because he knows what's going to happen next, and they'll say, okay, I'll take that, because that's the way Bruiser did business. He gave it to you, like he explained to you, so you'll be happy with what you're receiving, and no hard feelings, because he doesn't want to have to take it to the next level. He's real good with wording things when he explains himself. The reason I'm saying this is because when you do something, anything in life, especially when you're in prison and you're going to go do something, like when you're going to go stab somebody, or you're going to go do something, tax somebody in the state for somebody, for like the eminent, you should always come out happy from the situation that you came into. And a lot of times nowadays it's not like that. They use you and want to do something and then throw you off to the side. It shouldn't be like that. That's why I'm using this as a platform to explain this to everybody. Because at the same time I tell my stories, I want people to understand of the situation that you get into when you decide to make that decision to go forward. Because in life, everybody has to pay for the decisions they make. And sometimes that decision you make might be the wrong decision, and it might cost you your life, or it could cost you a lot of years in prison. And I explain this to you because I use this as a platform to help people change their minds from wanting to make that decision to do something that's going to end up spending their time in prison for the rest of their life, like myself. Because even though I'm in prison and I've been here a long time and I got life, I'm trying to use this platform to help people out to change their ways. Because it's not worth it, bro. Believe me, hear it from somebody that lived through it, and it's not worth it, bro. You go through a lot of pain, a lot of sorrow, and these times right now, it's hard, bro. You see people in the street dying, especially with this COVID right now. Loved ones that you ain't ever seen, that you're not going to see no more because they died because of the COVID. And man, it hurts me sometimes. Sometimes I'm a man. I'm a grown man. And sometimes I sit in myself and I cry to myself sometimes at night because of the people that I've lost, man. The people, things that I missed in life out there, man. It's because I made a decision. When I first came in prison, I wanted to be a down gangster. Seeing the vatos, because the first time I seen the Hammond, I was a little kid, 14 years old, when I see my homeboy Big Dico Varela from Broly come out the Pinta, and he came into the Monte Carlo bar, and I seen when he walked in, you can see the gangster with two other hoodlums with him, and he just took over the bar, and I seen all the homies from Broly, the older dudes that I thought that were bad, bowing down to him, and I asked homies, hey, who's that? Who is that homies right there? And he said, oh, that's the big homies, Nico Varela. I said, la M. And I'm like, what's the M? And they're like, oh, the M is a Mexican mafia. And I'm like, damn, man, I want to be like him. You know what I mean? I seen the whole way. He just took over the whole bar, the hyenas, the vatos, the owner of the bar, everything. They were like scared of him. And I was like, man, I got fascinated by it. And I made that decision. If ever I go to the Pinta, that's what I'm going to be. And I use this to tell people, don't be like that because it's not worth it, bro. You're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. And here, when you can be out there, I think I look at it like this: all them nerds, all them dudes, they're schoolboys and all that. Those were the most smartest dudes that I give them their props because they're smart because they didn't take that ride like I did to be in prison. They were nerds going to school and everything. They changed their life, and look what they got now. They're bowing out. They got big old houses, cars, families, jobs, everything. That's the smart dude. I wish I was like that. I'll tell you right now, everybody is hearing this. I use this as a platform. Conejo made the wrong decision in life. And I hope that this helps you guys to make the right decision so you won't make that. A lot of you little kids, and I give a shout out to my camarada, Angelo Felix, and all those little kids out there that are his kids, that he has rich kids that he helps out. Make the right decision out there. Don't make the decision to be in prison for the rest of your life. And I give a shout out to the Victory Outreach, the church from Role, David Asensio, my camarada, the pastor, David Asensio. He changed a long time ago, and I should have made a change a long time ago when he did. I could have been out there like him. And I send a shout out to the OKC Restoration Church in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, my homeboy, the pastor, Peter Vasquez, I send my shout out to him because he always hears my show and he tells me every time you talk, people hear you, bro. And these pastors, they've been knowing me since I was a little kid, and I use this platform to help people change their ways so they can change for the better. And I love all you guys. And Tony, it's gonna hang up. Tony.